How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.
My name is Jonathan Gillum.
And this is The Experts. There you are. And here I am. Started getting worried there, didn't you? Well, here we are. It's Thursday. I've decided to do the Friday night toast tonight. Take tomorrow off since I never got a birthday off. And I'm going to explain what we're going to talk about tonight, so let's go ahead and get started. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it. It's going to be a shorter show tonight. I got started really late because I got home late. I had some other work that I had to do. Again, I can't support myself on doing a free show. And the GoFundMe page is pretty much died. We haven't had any donations. We had a few donations. There's been a few people that have donated over the past couple of weeks of a good amount, $100, $150, and that's helped out a bit. So, but because when the funds are down, I got to do other things. So, and I had a couple appearances today on Sean Hannity's show and on the C.L. Bryant show. So it is what it is. We're going to get started now and won't delay anymore. But I'm not going to keep you on here for a long time. So make sure you have a frosty beverage so we can do a toast tonight. And then I'm going to take tomorrow off. So as you will see, I'll just say this. I keep advertising my book. I'm pushing it. We now have a month until the release. So if you have not ordered, I recommend ordering that sooner than later, because depending on how many orders that we have by the middle of November of this month is how many books in total will be printed. So you need to we need to get as many people as possible to order this book, so that there's plenty of these books that will be printed when December 12th comes around. Because here's the problem, folks. I'm a first-time author, and the sale of this book has gone ballistic. So right now we're at this point where we're trying to figure out how many books we should actually publish. Because I am a first-time author and there's no record of how many books I'll sell, it's kind of a guessing game. So the more orders we have, the more books we're gonna produce. If you wait until December to order the book, you're not going to have that book because you'll have to wait for the next print cycle to go around, and that is going to be a problem, because you'll understand when you get this book how important it is. People need to read it. People need to understand what's happening. That way you won't have what happened down there on that bike path the other day occur to your family or friends, which we're not going to stop necessarily the terrorists or the bad guys committing terrorist acts. We're not going to be able, let's name it what it is, the Muslims, or in the case of, we don't even know what the deal was in Vegas. In Vegas, I still think there's more people involved with that, but we're not going to be able to stop mad people from committing crimes, but we are going to be able to educate and empower the public to react properly. Thinking that there's fireworks at a concert and not doing anything that's not proper, going someplace and getting smashed and thinking that it'll never happen here, that's not the right way to think. And the people that were involved in the terrorist attack on the bike path down here in New York said they thought it was a Halloween prank. And I mean, these are just, Halloween pranks don't occur where people are getting run over and killed. So it's imperative that you get as many people to order this book as possible. If you know somebody that's an administrator at a college or a university that's in charge of funds, and I'm telling you, universities need to order this to either hand out or let people buy it at a reduced price there on campus. Bookstores, everybody needs to have this. City Hall officials, if you have a representative that you want to send it to in Congress, there's, I don't know how many congressmen we have now. It's like a ton. So there should be, I think all in all, we got 600 and something between the congressmen and the senators. So we need to have, they all need a copy of this. The president's going to need a copy of it. Am I overshooting the standards of this book? Look, I'm not a grammar major, so we've had great editing, but I'm not a world-class writer. What I am is I'm a tactician. I know how to target from a bad guy's perspective, and I put this in a book so that you all can have this knowledge. I don't go in anywhere. You talk to anybody else who's in special forces, or a lot of, not all cops, but a lot of cops. When they go anywhere they go, they know where they are. They know the the possibilities that exist there of what can happen, and they're ready for it. They're ready to act instead of just react. I'm trying to give that mindset to the American people and Canadians and Mexicans and Germans and anybody else, English, the British, whoever wants to buy this book, they need to have it. And if people in office get it, your chief of police, your sheriff, everybody needs to have this book so that you can understand how attackers think, what killing is all about, how a defender should take that mindset and use it to their advantage, and how you gain the knowledge that attackers have, or really not gain the knowledge, but how you utilize the knowledge that you have from an attacker's point of view so you understand your critical areas, critical times, vulnerabilities that can be exploited, and the avenues of approach that an attacker may come. That's what it's all about. So if you haven't shared this show yet, share it. I'm going to share it right now. And if my Facebook will come up. There it goes. If you're on Twitter, make sure that you retweet. And if you can go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and get this word out. All right, so let me get this. I'm going to grab this. Copy the link. I'm doing it with you. Copy the link. Go up here, put it on, post it. It takes so long to do this. And on Twitter, you just hit a retweet button. That's pretty easy. There you go. Hear that? That's done. I'm going to do 2 more of those. I have access to 3 pages. Publish. There you go. 1 more. And paste. Boom. Publish. Boom. There you go. Now, let me check one more thing. By the way, they're working on the road outside of my apartment, and it sounded like Vietnam outside my apartment all night last night. I've got sources writing in on me right now. All right, so I was wanting to talk about taxes tonight, but to tell you the truth, Michael Jack, who I was going to have on here, he has a meeting he had to go to. That's why tonight I was so delayed. It's a Thursday night, and everybody's got somewhere to go, and it's just sometimes there's just nights when you just can't get your sources back on. You can't get things started. Again, I don't have a production crew, and I'm off doing other kinds of work. So there you go. But what I'm not going to talk about taxes, okay? I don't know enough about the tax plan. I will tell you this, though. I will play this video real quick. Let me pull this up. And let's see here. I'll put it up on the screen. This is off of foxnews.com, of course. And this is Paul Ryan, who I have no faith in whatsoever.
I want to thank these families for taking time out of their day to join us. Welcome. It is great to have you here with us today. It's fantastic.
Yeah, great. They look really enthusiastic.
You are who this is all about. This plan is for the middle-class families in this country who deserve a break. It is for the families who are... Okay, so when I was on Hannity's show today, that is not what it sounds like. That's why I don't want to talk about this absolutely tonight completely, because I don't know enough about it. But this guy right here, first of all, he spells liar to me. I mean, he just always looks like he's lying to me. And from what I understood, that the people that I was talking to at Hannity's radio show, this is not a benefit to the middle-class American. And just listen from the very get-go.
of the fake enthusiasm that's in this room, and when he talks about how much that people are going to save, it's not, I mean, it's not groundbreaking. All right.
Taking time out of their day to join us. Welcome. It is great to have you here with us today. It's fantastic.
That's not a good reception at all.
You are who this is all about. This plan is for the middle-class families in this country who deserve a break. It is for the families who are out there living paycheck to paycheck, who just keep getting squeezed.
This guy looks like he's getting squeezed right there, doesn't he? Like the Charmin guy's back there squeezing him. Sorry.
You know, about half the country today is living paycheck to paycheck, and a lot more people are about a paycheck away from living paycheck to paycheck in this country, and this is going to help give people relief.
Okay. I got to hear what he just said there again. That's
paycheck who just a break. It is for the families who are out there living paycheck to paycheck, who just keep getting squeezed. You know, about half the country today is living paycheck to paycheck, and a lot more people are about a paycheck away from living paycheck to paycheck.
Okay. Only a rich guy would differentiate between a family that's living paycheck to paycheck versus a family that's living a paycheck and another paycheck before your paycheck to paycheck, I think is the way he was saying it. That sounds like something a rich guy would say, right? Like, I know that you depend on your paycheck for rent, but we're going to make it so that you have an extra paycheck before you run out of money. It doesn't give you much more security, folks. I mean, I know a lot of you who were here with me. Look, it's always be great to have a couple $1,000 extra in the bank. No doubt about that. But you have as much of you stump your toe and break your toe, you're done. That extra paycheck that he's talking about is gone. So I'm not real clear on this guy and his elitist ways of thinking, because that doesn't give me any comfort. If he said we want to make it so you have 6 months of paychecks, okay, I could understand that. And look, I'm no socialist, all right? Everybody that knows me knows I'm no socialist. I believe you should get what you work for. But I do believe that we pay way too many taxes in this country. There's just so many things that are unnecessary that our taxes go to that that could be eliminated, and at the same time, like the NFL for the longest time being the tax-exempt status, and they're making billions of dollars. How is it that they're not taxed beyond belief? How is it that somebody that plays football that gets a $30 million contract doesn't have the highest tax rate? Yet the people from the same neighborhood that guy came from, whether it's middle class or let's say it's a middle class neighborhood, and a football player comes from that neighborhood and he goes and plays football and he makes $30 million, he gets a $30 million contract, right? His tax rate is going to be it's going to be lower, and it's going to affect him less, whatever changes they make, than it would devastatingly affect the people from the middle class family that he came from. I believe if you can get rich in this country, good on you. But I do believe that I don't think we have to tax the rich more. I don't think we have to tax. I think we can tax the middle class much less. But the problem is, there's just too many things being done in this country to benefit politicians' pockets that we waste our tax money. Wasted. And so, coming up with a new tax plan or a new budget every year, it's the only reason. I was a part of the government for a long time. My mind is racing now while I'm thinking. Always when I start the show, I'm like, I don't like nights like tonight. I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I get spun up on this. You can hear the vehicles working outside on my road. But I remember being in the government, and towards the end of the year, we had to waste money. Otherwise, we would not get a budget increase the next year. And the reality is, we didn't need a budget increase. We just needed new computers. So we would go out and spend massive amounts of money as quickly as possible to get these new computers or to buy GPSs for our cars or do whatever, not because we needed them, because we're trying to get more money for the budget for the next year. That's your tax. That's my tax dollars. That's what we're being taxed for. That stuff is being wasted. And it bothered me doing that, because not only did I feel like I was wasting my own money, but I felt like I was wasting other people's monies that work hard. And I don't agree with doing that. Now, I'm not a tax expert. I'm not one of these gurus who can twist and turn and do all these things and make things work or come up with these policies. But I don't see why it's such a difficult thing for the American people. Look, it's not difficult for them. They're corrupt. Okay, they know what they're doing. But what I can't understand is, why is it so difficult for the American people to know and understand that they're being taken for a ride by these loonies? I mean, our taxes should just be as simple as, if you make below $20,000, you're going to pay $100 a year in taxes. So you got some skin in the game. If you make above $20,000, then you're going to go on a percentage base. And everybody should pay, I don't know, 15. What in China, they pay 15% flat tax. Boom, that's it. And then look, if states and cities need to take taxes, or I don't know why states and cities need to take taxes. I think the state should take a tax, and they should divvy it out amongst the cities if they have to. But I don't think that tax from a state should be more than, say, 5%. Because the fact is, all the things that they're doing in the states, like roads, health care, education, they get our federal tax dollars anyway. So then the states are going to turn around and tax us on top of that, or the cities like in New York are going to tax us on top of what the state taxes. I mean, it gets ridiculous. So the whole tax, it's like the government. It's like the federal government in general and the state governments. The whole thing needs to be overhauled the way we do this stuff. 242 years now this country's been around, and they've been doing this stuff. I think it's time for things to be done a different way. It's just out of control. It doesn't work. The politicians are corrupt. They, as we can see, and I'm going to talk about in a second, with Donna Brazile coming out now and going against the Clintons. We'll talk about that in a second. But it's so bad, folks, that I seriously want the people. I'm calling out the people in the military and in law enforcement, okay? If you're a cop, or if you know somebody's a cop, I want you to tell them they need to listen to this part of the show, or if they're in the military. There's going to come a time when you're going to have to decide. And I'm trying not to get back on this Civil War mentality, but if there may come a time when, if you're in the military or you're in law enforcement, you may have to go against what you're being told by people like this right here. There may be people march on Washington, D.C. one time, patriots for the right reasons. And law enforcement may want to join in on that, because the reality is you're being screwed as well. It's just like the Secret Service. They don't even have, at least under Obama they didn't. I don't know if President Trump has changed it. The press has this massive press room. They're all over the place in the White House. The Secret Service doesn't even have a locker room in the White House. They have a closet. They don't have parking spaces assigned to them. Can you believe that? They've got to drive around and look for parking, just like the federal building down here in New York City that takes us forever, sometimes 2 hours to find parking. What's the moral of that story? Kick the press out, put the Secret Service in that room, give them a locker room, give them a men and women's place to take a shower and get ready to go home in the evenings and do whatever they got to do, because they spend the majority of their life with the president. We should be taking care of them. But here's the whole point of this. Secret Service, Capitol Police, Parks Police, D.C. Police, all the the police departments around the country, everybody in the military, you should realize that you are a taxpayer. You are an American citizen. You swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You're looking at the enemy right here. This is the biggest national security threat to this country. Not necessarily Paul Ryan himself, but he's a part of that group. And there may come a day when you have to stand against those people. And the day is here. The day is here. It's just how we do it. I'm not saying go to guns, but the American people should be aware of this, that your tax dollars are wasted at the end of the year so that they can increase the budgets. If you didn't know that, that's what happens. Politicians go around, like Chuck Schumer goes around lying about health care to different places, telling them that your health care or the federal dollars that are coming to your nonprofit hospital or so on and so forth, or your special care, is going to be cut, and that Trump is going to destroy that, when the fact is the same amount of money is going to be given out the next year. There's just not going to be an increase, which reality is every year there doesn't need to be an increase. I believe if you need an increase, if you have the ability to show that, then the government should look at it and say, okay, we get that. You need an increase. The government shouldn't be stingy with their money. They should be smart with their money. But if somebody needs it and it's our tax dollars and they say we got this new technology that could save children's lives, then they should get that technology, I believe. But if it's just a case of continuing to up the budget so you can pay the people that are the CEOs or the administrators in nonprofits or hospitals or anywhere else for that matter, no, I don't think that money should increase unless they show that they absolutely have to have it for whatever reason. And by and large, I just don't. I think the way the federal government divvies out monies, why do we have such a huge debt in this country and we still shell out money to Israel? Israel's not poor. They're self-supportive. I love Israel. I'm a big supporter of Israel. Why are we giving millions and millions of dollars, or billions? I don't know how much we give them. Why do we give billions of dollars to Iran? Thank you, President Obama. We didn't need to give them that money. We didn't give it to them before. Our relationship was a certain way. You gave them that money. Our relationship's still just as bad. It's ridiculous waste. So let's listen to what else he has to say.
Country, and this is going to help give people relief. The Tax Cut and Jobs Act will deliver real relief for people in the middle, people who are also striving to get there. With this plan, the typical family of four will save $1,182 a year on their taxes.
Wow.
For many families, having an additional $1,182 more will make a real difference.
And many it won't.
$1,182 more covers about a year's worth of gas for your car. It covers your family's phone bill for the year, depending on how much data, of course, your kids use.
Oh, man,
that $1,182 more, it can help you pay down your debt faster. It can help you start and renovate a year's worth of gas for your car.
Okay.
It will make a real difference.
I've learned this lesson, folks. If you're going to go into public speaking, you need to choose your crowd wisely if you're going to try to be funny. You be serious, that's one thing. I have an ability to bring people to tears saying certain things, but you got to be careful when you're going to try to be funny because it just makes you look like more of a moron like this guy.
That $1,182 more covers about a year's worth of gas for your car. It covers your family's phone bill for the year, depending on how much data, of course, your kids use. That $1,182 more, it can help you pay down your debt faster. It can help you start.
Okay. Just so you know, I'm no mathematician, but this guy's talking about as though $1,182 a year is going to miraculously make this middle class just soar into the future. All right? This, folks, in case you don't realize it, per month, I guess it won't transfer over there. Dadgummit, is what this is. Hold on a second here. Let's see if I can get this to come over there. Okay, here you go. I guess I didn't need to do that. $98.50 a month. All right? That's what Paul Ryan's talking about. Every time he says that, I'll put that right over his face. Every time he says that $1,182 a year is going to do this and this and this, that's what that boils down to. $98.50 a month. Okay? That won't even cover my phone bill. That won't cover my cable bill. That won't, which I have to have cable and a phone to do this alone, let alone other jobs. $98 won't even cover the Friday night toast, which we have to have. $98 will not cover a vet visit for Rico. So, as he's talking about this $1,182 a year, don't be fooled. It's $98 a month. Only an elitist rich guy would feel comfortable trying to sell this as though we should be just, thank you, Mr. Paul Ryan. Thank you, Mr. Paul Ryan. We sure do appreciate it.
And renovate your home faster. That $1,182 more for the average family, that will help you put more money away for college. It will help you save for retirement. It will help you save for a rainy day.
$1,182 is man. You could pay off what could you even buy books for one semester with that? This guy's crazy.
With this plan, we are getting rid of loopholes for special interests, and we are leveling the playing field.
I doubt that.
We're making things so simple. We're making things so simple that you can do your taxes on a form the size of a postcard.
Which they keep touting this, right? So all it was before was if you don't make a lot of money, it's a sheet, right? So now they've shrunk it from this to this, and they feel like that is the look. I don't care if it was like a red carpet that you had to unroll. As long as our taxes went down, I don't care. This is the last thing that he should be bragging about is how we do our taxes, okay? It is complicated. I get it. But this is not what people are looking for. They're not looking for smaller forms. They're looking for less taxes. This guy, I can't believe that he actually feels good about this. Yes, Larry, he is a joke.
With this plan, we are making pro-growth reforms so that, yes, America can compete with the rest of the world. But we're also making it so that families like these that are here can have more take-home pay.
Not much more.
This is it.
That's right. That's it. That's about all that's good's coming out of this from what I can read. Again, I'm not a tax expert. We're going to get somebody on here that knows a little bit more, but that's about it.
This is a very important and special moment for our country, for all Americans.
No, it's
not. Are we going to let the defenders of the status quo win and see our country continue down this downward spiral? Or are we going to realize the promise of our country? Are we going to revitalize the American idea? This is our chance to make sure that generations to come don't just get by, they get ahead in this country.
I honestly, folks, I should have done my entire show, which I basically am, on this speech. I only listened to the beginning. What happened here? I only listened to the beginning of this speech before I started this show. And let's pull it back up here. I may have been almost finished with it. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life, honestly. What happened here?
Hey, Boomer. Great to be working with you on this.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you a commercial, so I don't give away free commercials. But that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I want to get it back up there as soon as we can. I hate the way the internet has progressed, the way they do these commercials, especially on Fox.com. They're killing me with these. All right, let's see. Let's bring it back up here.
Families for taking time out of their day to join us. Welcome. It is great to have you here with us today. It's fantastic.
It's like 5 people clapped.
You are who this is all about.
I'm not going to make you go through this whole thing again.
We're making things so simple that you can do your taxes on a form the size of a postcard.
He's happy about that.
With this plan, we are making pro-growth reforms so that, yes, America can compete with the rest of the world. But we're also making it so that families like these that are here can have more take-home pay. This is it. This is a very important and special moment for our country, for all Americans. Are
How?
we going to let the defenders of the status quo win and see our country continue down this downward spiral? Or are we going to realize the promise of our country? Are we going to revitalize the American idea? This is our chance to make sure that generations to come don't just get by, they get ahead in this country.
$1,182 they're going to get by, okay? I don't think so, Paul Ryan. Gosh. You know, one great thing about what's going on in this country is you should be unified. If you're a liberal and you're just tuning in or you're a troll on Twitter, you should stop what you're doing for a second, and you should realize if you are just hell-bent on defending Barack Obama and the past administration, you should realize their failure, okay? But I'm not going to argue with you that the Republican Party is a huge success. They're not. They're a bunch of corrupt individuals that don't know how to lead. They are all elitists who are rich, and I know I'm sounding like some kind of conspiracy, you know, like I want to go protest down on Wall Street. You know, Wall Street, those people figure out how to make their money. These people in Washington, D.C., they basically get rich off the fatted teat. Okay, that's a big cow udder. The fatted teat of a cow. It's like the American taxpayer. And every day they just go out, and every April they go out and just milk us like crazy for our money, or every paycheck they milk you for your money. I've told you this before. When I was in the FBI, I made the last year I was in there before I got out, technically retired, but got out in 8 years. I was making $110,000 a year, and that $110,000 after I paid all my taxes, I was making $56,000 a year. That is before that money, that $56,000 now, before I went out and spent that money, which was taxed. If I paid rent, it was taxed. If I paid my phone bill, it was taxed. If I paid my cable bill, it was taxed. If all the food that I bought was taxed. When I went and paid for the vet visits for my dog, there's taxes on that. All these, everything is taxed to the point where you are actually you're taxed for about 60% of every dollar that you make, and the other 40% just went to go pay for everything. There's no reason for this. This country, the country can prosper without the government being so large, first and foremost, and secondly, the country can prosper without all the promises that they give to their constituents that line their pockets. We don't need to have idiotic stuff like law enforcement agencies say that they need a new building so they can have a fingerprint facility, or in the case of NCIS, they needed this new place where they could do all that stuff. I get it. That's where they run all the records. I get it. They need a new building. Why not go into a major metropolitan area in this country like Detroit, where there's buildings, a plethora of buildings, where they're just practically rotting, and take over one of those buildings, pay a nice cheap premium for it, and turn that into the NCIS or the records department or whatever. Why do you have to go into the middle? I can't even remember where this is. It's somewhere in a rural area where there's nothing else around. I forget where this at. And they got this $1 million building that sits out there where all these people work. That's what I'm talking about. These bridges that go to nowhere. All these, the way they waste our taxpayer monies on all these different things is so nefarious for special interest. It's just out of control. Man. So I'm just seeing popped up on Fox News that the Las Vegas shooter's brother threatened to kill a nursing home employees. He's a weird dude, man, that guy. But where did the Donna Brazile story go? Just disappeared all of a sudden. Let's see here. How could that be trumping the Donna Brazile story? There it is. So I want to talk about this real quick, and then I'm going to do the Friday Night Toast, and we'll get out of here. it's very similar. The Donna Brazile story is very similar to, and this is Donna Brazile, in case you don't know who she is. You might recognize her. She's the one that was colluding when she was a spokesperson or not a spokesperson, when she was a contributor with CNN. She was feeding the questions for the debate, the presidential debate, to Hillary Clinton's campaign. She then took over the DNC, and now she's writing a book, and she's saying that in her book that's going to be published here pretty soon, which you better go out and buy mine first and not hers, because I can guarantee you're going to learn more about what the reality, how to protect yourself. We all know the game that they're playing. You can write a book about it, just like all the stuff's coming out with Hillary and the colluding with the Russians. We all already know that stuff. We don't need somebody to write a book for it and then end up paying these people for a book. We already know it. Hold on. I've got to put this up. So there you go. She's saying that there's proof, there's a joint fundraising agreement, a document between the DNC, the Hillary Victory Fund, and Hillary for America. This is the other thing I don't get. Listen, Scott Eulinger, we talked to him yesterday. He's running for Congress and looking for donations. The way this whole these campaign finance things work, you want to talk about monies to need to be looked closely at. Those are very suspicious to me, the way that those things pop up and pop down, and people make a tremendous amount of money. They get paychecks. They'll start a PAC or a super PAC, and they pay each other tremendous amounts of monies. People send in listen, folks, stop sending your money to this stuff, okay? Donald Trump proved that you can run a campaign on the cheap and win. So stop sending your money to these people that money goes to fund the political machine that is the Democratic Republican parties. So I don't know. I'm profoundly disturbed by this. But anyway, it said that this agreement had been signed in August 2015, 4 months after Clinton announced her candidacy and a year before she officially secured the nomination over Sanders. So in other words, the agreement was signed by Amy Dossey, the former CEO of the DNC, and my least favorite person in the world, Robbie Mook, that little effeminate guy who worked for the Clintons, who always, I wasn't involved in anything. Oh, no, they're not doing anything wrong. Oh, Hillary Clinton's great. Robbie Mook is a mook. That's what he is. He's a freaking criminal. So, and he's nefarious and unethical. So this woman, the DNC, and Robbie Mook got together with a copy, and they copied Mark Elias, specified that the exchange for raising money and investing in the DNC, Hillary would control the party's finances. Why on earth would you ever get the Clintons charge over your finances? The strategy, which means they were the ones that were in charge of the DNC strategy, which means they weren't going to let Bernie Sanders or anybody else win at that point, and all the money raised, Brazile wrote. Her campaign had the right of refusal of who would be the party communications director, and it would make final decisions on all other staff. So they basically packed it, which is good to know, because that means that they were responsible, by and large, for the Awan brothers. That's the Muslim criminals that were no telling what kind of secrets they got from our government by accident. They were working as the IT people for the Democratic Party and all these congressmen and I think senators. Then you got this person right here, our favorite. Let's just bring her up here. Let's see here. Here she is.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I want my computer back. I'm Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Okay, yeah, we get it.
She looks so sad in that picture. Ugh. So, yeah. Hold on, let me read a little bit more of this. Who's the idiot that says this? I don't even know, I'm going to try to pronounce this name. Let's see if Siri can pronounce it.
Xochitl Hinojosa.
Xochitl Hinojosa. Thank you, Siri, or Mr. Siri.
Xochitl Hinojosa.
Okay. That's the DNC spokesperson. Interesting name. Said that the DNC must remain neutral in the presidential primary process, and there shouldn't even be a perception that the DNC is interfering in that process. Yeah, right. Same thing with the RNC. That's why they are freaking out. That's why at first I thought it was okay that Reince Priebus would serve a purpose to be able to work the establishment, but I didn't realize the depths of criminality that the establishment is in the Republican Party. So same type of nonsense that was going on over here was going on over there. Why anybody would put this individual in charge of anything financial is beyond me. It's crazy. So anyway, the point is here that it appears that the same thing that's happening in Hollywood, i.e., Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, that guy is he's dropping like a cannonball. His career is basically gone. Now there's another 14-year-old saying that he had an affair with him or something like that. I mean, Kevin Spacey's done. Quite frankly, Kevin Spacey should be in jail. He should already be charged and locked up. I get my suspicious feeling about the people who run law enforcement agencies out in around Hollywood, that they don't do anything out there. I think that I can't understand why a massive investigation is not underway, looking at all these allegations that Corey Feldman's finally stepping up to the plate. I gave him some harsh criticism that he was something about him wanting to he's trying to get people to make a movie with him so he could expose people. Well, he's finally exposing people. He was on Dr. Oz, and supposedly he called L.A. County Sheriff's Department to show who these people are. He's already named one name. I don't know who the guy is. John Grissom. I don't know who that guy is. Not the writer. This is some 2-bit actor that supposedly molested him when he was 14. Man, they love 14-year-olds, 13, 14 years old. So there should be an investigation going on that's going after these people and locking them up. Kevin Spacey should already be in jail. Harvey Weinstein should be close. And a lot of these other people, they should just be investigated. So when I look at the Donna Brazile issue with the DNC, I'm basically looking at the same thing. I'm looking at the house of cards is falling. Thank you, Kevin Spacey, for that reference. And in Hollywood, once Harvey Weinstein, which was the top predator, once he was taken down, everybody else said, hey, I think you can take people down and your career won't be over with. So now they're going after everybody. It's not happening fast enough, I don't think. I think it should happen faster. But Donna Brazile is very similar to what I believe Ashley Judd is. Donna Brazile is a liar. There's no way that she didn't know this stuff was going on. I think Donna Brazile is trying to edge her way out so she's not going to be caught up in this nonsense. And I can guarantee if Harvey Weinstein had gone around saying, we got to get Ashley Judd apart so she wins Academy Award because I'm going to have sex with her, that's what she said, and then she won the Academy Award, we probably wouldn't be hearing anything about this. But Ashley Judd is not that great of an actress, so she didn't ever win an Academy Award, so she didn't have to have sex with him. So when it came out, now she's a victim all of a sudden because she hates men now. And I think the same thing with Donna Brazile. All this stuff started breaking. She's very closely related to it. So all of a sudden she hates the president. Or, no, hey, she hates the president. She hates the Clintons. So very similar. Very similar. Having done investigations, I can tell you this. Once the house starts to teeter, you're going to start getting sources that are going to start popping up with information that you would never even have expected a lot of the times. And your jaws, even investigators, your jaw will hit the floor and you'll be like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So I foresee more in this. The only problem is the protectors that they have at the high levels, the protectors that they have in Hollywood at the high levels, and the same thing in politics. So, see you later, Annette. She's got a bug out. So, I'm going to go ahead and close the show out. We're going to do a Friday night toast. We'll do it tonight. It's Thursday. Thursday's like the new Friday. So, and then I'm going to take tomorrow off, and I'm going to go have a birthday dinner for me, since I didn't get to have birthday dinner. I got to have a little bit of one at Del Frisco's. I got to say, my man Larry, if you all are ever in New York City, go to Del Frisco's. Ask everybody if the bartender named Larry is working. Tell him that Jonathan Gillum sent you there. He's a great guy. He's like an old-timey bartender. This guy's great. And he'll take care of you. But he took care of me the other night. Let's see here. What else? Do we have any trolls over there on Twitter? I haven't even been looking at the... Look, well, you know what? Let's go to Truth Zone. I'm going to tell you this. And anybody else got anything? Because I think that's about all I need to talk about tonight. I know tonight was kind of a blah show, but hopefully you saw something out of it. I do want to say this. Apparently, I don't know where this was. A British woman was euphoric to have ticked off an item from her bucket list. Murder. She murdered an autistic boy to get that off her bucket list. If that doesn't spell crazy, I don't know what does. It weirds me out that I even had that on my show. But yeah, she's some odd people. That's what happens when somebody along the line does drugs. Either she's doing drugs or her parents did drugs when they had her. One of the two. All right. I'm just looking at people. I don't recognize some of these names, so it's good to have new people on here. Sorry you had to watch tonight. Can I repeat what? Marcy, what do you need me to repeat? We're waiting on you, Marcy. You say, can you repeat that? What do you need me to repeat? I'm giving everybody a second so they can get their tasty beverage. It's Thursday. You can do it. It's okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and move ahead, Marcy. So, those of you that heard me on Hannity today, I was with Geraldo Rivera. Let me just say this. It was, the English woman, she killed an autistic kid to check off murder on her bucket list. There you go. So I was on with Geraldo Rivera. I didn't tell this story on there. Maybe I should probably keep this to myself, but Geraldo's got a great sense of humor. I should have said it on there today. Maybe if I'm on with him again next week, I'll say it. But first of all, let me just tell you, every time I'm on a show with Geraldo Rivera, it's like the first time I met Joe Piscopo on the set at Fox News. It's like if they knew what was going on in my life as a child when they first appeared on air. I remember sitting with my mom and my sisters in Arkansas, in Yellville, and poor as can be, and we loved back in that day and age Saturday Night Live, which has really become a political disaster now. Can't even watch it. Lorne Michaels, you've done some great things through the years. Your politicization and liberalization and leftist ways that have destroyed Saturday Night Live. And I've met Lorne Michaels. I know he probably wouldn't remember me, but I've ran into him in many, many locations. And it's destroyed. Saturday Night Live is a worthless show now. But when Joe Piscopo was on there when I was a kid, and we used to watch that, I remember sitting there laughing so hard at him and Eddie Murphy and all the other people that were on there. It was true comedy back then. Something that you could actually look forward to, like Game of Thrones every week, which we're not going to see that for another year. But I used to look forward to Saturday Night Live. Another show, well, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. But when I met Joe Piscopo, I don't know if he realized, I tried to make it known to him that it was just groundbreaking meeting him, because it brought back so many memories, and it was crazy that I would be in the same place talking to him on a show. Well, the same thing with Geraldo Rivera. I remember as a kid watching Geraldo open that vault when there was nothing in there. I remember, I always thought Geraldo Rivera had one of the best radio voices on television, or radio voice, one of the best voices on television. He makes everything interesting. Geraldo Rivera could talk about opening up a bottle of mayonnaise and it would be interesting. He's just, you can hate his politics, but you got to admit the guy is a very entertaining individual, and he is one feisty dude. And for 72 years old or 73, however old he is now, he is pretty amazing in shape and takes good care of himself and is very machismo. So it was pretty cool being on there with him and actually being having now years and years of experience where I can have an opinion next to Geraldo Rivera and it's listened to on Sean Hannity's radio show. That's pretty cool. So, and it was actually a very good, calm debate today. We actually agreed on a lot of things. And Geraldo is not as, I know on Twitter, people were just going crazy on him, saying he should shut up and this and that when we were talking. But he was very cordial. He talked, I talked. He had points. In the case of Hillary Clinton, I don't know how anybody could disagree with him. He sees exactly what's going on. He doesn't believe President Trump has done anything wrong as far as collusion goes, and he's pretty level-headed. But he's liberal. He's very liberal, and he's got his liberal ways. But, like I said, there's different ways to change a light bulb. The problem that we face is not whether Geraldo's liberal and I'm conservative, is can we sit down and just say, okay, we need the light bulb changed. Can we just grab a ladder? What's closest? Let's just get it done and make sure it's effective and cheap. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the way. Geraldo is a real person, whereas these politicians that call themselves liberal, they're liars, and they're cheats, and they're scam artists, and they're actors. And but anyway, the funny thing about it was being on with, today was the first time I was on air with Geraldo since many years ago. I was on his show when he had a show on Fox News. I guess that was 2013. And I was the last guest on his show, and we were talking about, I believe it was Hannah Anderson in the rescue of Hannah Anderson. And the show ended. I said, again, it was great to meet you, Geraldo. Thanks for having me on the show. He goes off, goes home, and texts a naked picture of himself on Twitter. So today was the first day that I had actually been on set with Geraldo since that night. And interesting. 70. Yeah. So anyway, that's a fun fact story. Let's go to the Truth Zone. And I hope you have a tasty beverage, because I'm not going to be here tomorrow night, although I say that every time. Maybe I'll just chomp on for a second if something big comes up. I'm a workaholic, folks. I like to work for you. I look forward to this. That's what I was going to say. I really look forward to coming on here and being on here with you guys. It means a lot to me, because I feel like you need the knowledge. You want the knowledge. I have it. I give it to you, and it's a fair trade. I feel like I'm doing something worthwhile. Don't forget right here before I go, the GoFundMe page. I know there's been about 500 and something people that have funded the whole show. This whole show has been funded by those people. Now, I know on a nightly basis, there's, anywhere between 100 to 200 people that gather and watch this show together via on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. But we, Lynette Miller, Geraldo, go just Google Geraldo Rivera Twitter picture, and you'll see he tweeted a picture of himself almost completely naked, but he had a towel over himself. It was on his birthday, like 70-something birthday. I was the last guest on his show before we went off and did that. So, but getting back to this in the GoFundMe page right here. So a couple months ago we did this, and it really worked out well. Everybody stepped up to the plate. I said $20. If everybody that watches this show donates $20 minimum, that this show would start to get funded. I upped it to $50 because the reality is we don't have enough people that are donating to this show to raise enough money to keep this show going. And because I'm just going to have to start looking for alternative ways to bring funds in. I spend so much time preparing for this show every day that it's just taken a huge chunk out of my budget. So $20 to $50 is what everybody that watches this show needs to go to the GoFundMe page tonight and donate $20 to $50. If you've done it before, again, I'm amazed that anybody's given to this show. I show up here every night. You all show up here every night. I put my money that I make that I make doing other things like hosting different shows and so on and so forth, doing security work, whatever. That money comes back into this pot. It funds this show. It helps me do the stuff on the road. But I need everybody that watches this show to donate $20 to $50 tonight or more if they want. And if you do $50, you're going to get a signed copy of a book when it comes out in December. But we've got to do this. Otherwise, this show's going to have to go to 3 days a week, 2 days a week, something like that. It's just doing it every single night has encompassed my life for 2 years. And the past 2 months, the GoFundMe pot has just dropped tremendously. So we need to have a push forward where we're funding this stuff, and so we can continue to go, especially because when this book comes out, I'm going to try to travel, do speeches. And again, you're not just, here's the other thing, folks. I've said this before. You're not just funding this show. You can talk to several different people. You can talk to Norma. You can talk to Dave Robson. You can talk to people in North Carolina. The GoFundMe page also helps me go and give speeches where people can't pay for speeches. So if I have enough in the money in the pot of the GoFundMe page and somebody in Ohio or somewhere needs a speech and they have a group of people and they can't afford to pay, $3,000 to $5,000 to come have me speak, sometimes more, depending on the subject, then we'll take from the pot and I'll go there and speak. We'll pay for the trip and we'll spread the truth to those people. And so this show is more than just me showing up every night and doing an hour to 2 hours here in front of you. This show is about unity. It's about being able to help everybody out in dialogue and going and spreading the truth around this country. That's what it's really about. So $20 to $50 tonight if you can donate that. It's gofund.me/The Experts Roadshow. It keeps popping up down there. If you could donate $1,000, $10,000, $1 million, hey, we'll start our own network. So that's about it. The other thing is, I think we need to start incorporating more people who are regulars watching this show. If you have an expertise, if you want to talk about something, we tried this before, but I want to start doing some Skypes with you all more, but I want to have it on here. I want to have your face up here. I don't think we just need to have you pop in on, get a phone or whatever. I'd like to have you all Skyping in on here where people can see you and can talk to you. We had Norm on here, Michael Jack, Dave Robson, Jason Meister, other people that watch this show, Kitty Kelly, Ron Bellum. They don't just participate as the experts. They also take part in the dialogue, and that's what I'd like to have. So, John Heiser, listen, the time is now. If we had the funding, I'd start a network right now. We would crush everybody. Just on the sheer base of the platform of this show, I can guarantee you the people that we could recruit, if we had the money, of course that's the way it is always it is in this world, isn't it? If we had the money, we could do great things. Well, we're doing great things. But if we had the money, we could, Beck and Levine did it, but Beck and Levine also had a bigger platform than I do. They had lots of money. So, let's get that going. So tonight, $20 to $50. Go to the GoFundMe page, donate it. $50 or more is going to get you a signed book. And let's get this going. I want to get back out on the road, regardless of how this book sells. But the book's selling pretty good. I'll put it to you that way. It's doing pretty good. Of course, I don't get a dime from that book until next year. All right, it's not like the books that sell right now, I'm getting a paycheck. I don't even get paid for the book until next year. So that's the way the publishing world works. So it's good for you to know that. And trust me, folks, that money is going to progress. This is something that we're going to progress. That's why I'm striving so hard to not go do other things to do this, because this show, I believe, is my future. I believe it is the future of what you guys want to watch. And one day we're going to broaden out from this little studio that I have here, which I can touch both sides of it. Look at that. I've got both sides touched. That's it. but I live in a New York City apartment. This is all you can do. There's no, it'd take over my apartment. Let's go to the Truth Zone. Think about that. Order the book. Donate to the GoFundMe page. If you do both, you're going to get $50. You're going to get a signed copy. Let's do it.
How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.
All right. Get your toast out. So, here's what I'm going to say real quick in closing. First, I got to get Paul Ryan's face off my computer. He's got a face you just want to punch right. Ugh. So, one thing I was just talking there about when I was young and watching Saturday Night Live and when I got to meet Joe Piscopo, one of the things that I realized when I met that guy, he's just a normal person who's really funny. Joe Piscopo, I was very proud when I got to know him because one of the things he talked about the most was his son. Not pretentious at all. Same thing with Sean Hannity. Same thing with Geraldo. There are people in this business that are good people. And nights like tonight, when I have got so much stuff going on, trying to make a living, trying to get here and do this show, trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about, and sometimes there's not enough experts to get on here. Again, I'm not a tax expert, and I wouldn't normally talk about taxes because that's not my thing. But I am an everyday person, and I do suffer from taxes. I do suffer from the lack of leadership in this country, like you do. And one thing we should think about, we got the Scott Eulingers in this world. We got people like myself who have high aspirations. We should stand together. There's been people write me and tell me they don't have any money to give. Or one person wrote and they sent $10. They said they didn't have any money to give. The fact that a person would write me and tell me that they wanted to give but they just don't have the money, you know what that tells me? It tells me that that person wants to be a part of this. The money is really just a sidestep to get where we got to go in this whole thing. Even if this show goes away, look at the unity that we got. How many people have become friends from watching this show and partaking in this show? It's pretty phenomenal when you think about it. And that's what it's all about. I'm not looking for funds for you to fund my life. I'm looking for funds to fund this show. But at the same time, just showing up here means a tremendous amount to me. I get sentimental every once in a while. Days like today when it's long, and this whole week has been long, and I've gotten little sleep, and yet I come here every night and you all show up. It means a tremendous amount. And so I'm going to raise a toast tonight. I know I've asked for $20 to $50 donated to the GoFundMe page. I've asked people to buy the book. But ultimately, you know what, folks, I'm toasting to you, the viewers, the people, the American citizens, the Canadians that tune into this show. I've had people from Australia that watch this show, from Europe. Listen, this is what it's all about. Don't worry about the borders. We can put up borders. We can still know and love each other. It doesn't matter where we're from. If you stand for truth, if you stand for what's right, and you stand together, no evil thing will ever come against you. Let's take a toast. I'm Jonathan Gillum. Ugh. Old Rico's asleep on the floor over there. This is The Experts. I'll see you on Monday. The truth
has arrived.
Hello. My name is Debbie Washerman Schultz. And I'm a good person, not a bad person. I just want my computer back. Ever since I've not had my computer, my eyesight, as you can see, has gone to crap. I just want my computer. I'm Debbie Washerman Schultz. Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
See ya. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.